Welcome to a brief history of the one and only Parents' Rights in Education, established in 2011. In 2005, the Ninth Circuit Court stole parents' rights. The case, Fields v. Palmdale School District, stated that the Meyer-Pierce right of parents to direct the upbringing of their children does not exist beyond the threshold of the school door. Then, 4 years later in 2009, Oregon legislators passed a bill requiring mandatory, comprehensive sexuality education taught in grades K through 12 every single year. In 2011, Lori Porter, an Oregon teacher, formed a parents' rights advocacy organization. Suzanne Gallagher, an interior designer and former education advocate, attended an organizational meeting sponsored by Lori and her group, and she recommended the name Parents' Rights in Education. In 2014, Parents' Rights in Education decided to investigate the Oregon Adolescent Sexuality Conference, which was held at Seaside. That conference had taken place for more than 20 years. But after a KOIN 6 News investigation in 2014, questions arose about the content provided to teens and tweens in attendance. In 2015, Suzanne Gallagher volunteered to help Parents' Rights in Education edit the audio that they had taken from the 2014 conference, creating introductory clips with imagery exposing the controversial content to the local news. The organization responsible for hosting the Adolescent Sexuality Conference decided to cancel the 2015 event just 1 month before it was to be held in Seaside. A huge win for parents' rights in education. The Oregon Department of Education's decision to cancel followed a series of investigations by KOIN 6 News. Those 4 news stories are featured on the Parents' Rights in Education website. Parents' Rights in Education decided to establish a tax-deductible nonprofit corporation in 2015. Their focus and emphasis is on education, not charity. Enter the bathroom debate. In spring of 2016, 2 Obama administration bureaucrats issued a directive to all public school districts stating that if transgender students were not allowed to use facilities matching their gender identity, the school is out of compliance with Title IX sex discrimination law. The very next year, 2017, President Trump reversed the Obama administration's directive, which was a victory for people who just want to go to bathroom with people of their same sex. When Dallas, Oregon School District decided to allow a biological female pretending to be a male to undress in the boys' locker room, Parents' Rights in Education drew the line. Along with Parents for Privacy, we sued the Dallas School District for the rights of individual students to privacy in respective locker and bathroom facilities while on the school campus. In 2018, Lori Porter, founding executive director, resigned her post, turning her attention to family obligations. And Suzanne Gallagher was recruited to step into the role. Gallagher spent 8 months rebranding and creating a new website, she increased social media following by 1,000% and set about growing the group's brand and following. In 2019, the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals decided to take the Pree versus Dallas School District lawsuit on appeal. Unfortunately, we were unsuccessful. After the initial hearing, we proceeded to Pioneer Courthouse Square, where we were met by Antifa activists and the Youth Liberation Front. In May, Parents' Rights in Education hosted their first national speaker, Mary Hassan, author of the book Get Out Now, and declaring public schools are America's cultural crisis. – 2019 marked the beginning of a new chapter program. We welcomed Washington State into the organization and Jennifer Heine Withy, their new leader. In November, the organization launched the Parents' Rights in Education Proclamation, naming November Parents' Rights in Education Month. The 2020 COVID shutdown changed everything. Parents' Rights in Education had scheduled the Safe Schools Summit for March of that year, but it was canceled by the order of the Oregon governor and subsequently rescheduled 4 times. We started Parents' Rights Now, the bi-weekly podcast launched in May, declaring parents' rights in education a national crisis. In 2020, schools were plaguing parents with mandatory masking and the threat of vaccinations without parent permission. In July, Parents' Rights in Education called for parents to unenroll their children to avoid these mandatory all-day mask issues. In 2021, it became evident, without good school board directors representing parents, we could not advance the cause. Parents' Rights in Education Political Action Committee was formed to help school board candidates. Soon, candidates from across the country, running for all different kinds of positions, were begging for the Parents' Rights in Education stamp of approval. Parents' Rights in Education was determined to move forward and hold the annual event planned for the previous year. So, even though Oregon was not fully open, the Northwest Safe Schools Summit was held on April 24th, and what a great event it was. May is the anniversary of George Floyd's death. Parents were calling for a stop to the teaching of Black Lives Matter and critical race theory in school. Parents' Rights in Education answered their requests for petitions and a call to action. Oregon schools led the protests down residential streets using minor students to further their agenda. The Texas Parents' Rights in Education chapter in Dallas-Fort Worth organized a strategy summit. National Executive Director Suzanne Gallagher challenged parents to stop the advancement of the Marxist agenda. If Texas falls, so does the nation. In September, Suzanne Gallagher spoke to the Oregon Patriots at the Gathering of the Eagles, launching the "My Child is Not Your Guinea Pig" campaign. The Newburgh School Board created quite a media frenzy. Their story was heard nationally. What did they do? Well, when Dave Brown, Brian Shannon, Trevor DeHart, and Renee Powell gained the majority, they passed a policy requiring only the United States and state flags be displayed on school grounds. No one will ever forget this teacher's demand to teach whatever she wants. Her face has become the media icon representing the defiant public school teachers union member. Far-left activists decided to challenge the board with a recall. They revealed their true agenda by throwing a drag queen show campaign fundraiser featuring a Newburgh High School senior. Parents' Rights in Education learned of a local gay couple who were in support of the Newburgh board. They agreed to do an in-person video interview with Suzanne Gallagher, explaining why they believe promotion of sexual preferences and identities should not be taught in K-12 schools. The vote to recall Dave Brown and Brian Shannon failed. The Newburgh victory marked a turning point for parents and families in Oregon and beyond. It showed when the people are empowered, they can reverse bad policy. Predetermined to reactivate the pre-national board by recruiting new members, including Ginger Larkham, chair, Jennifer Heine-Withy, secretary, and Art Highland, treasurer. Parents' Rights in Education's message has spread to over 14 states. The chapter development program is unique, combining all the elements to address the busy schedules and demands on parents. We make it easy for them to get up to speed, get active, and make a difference. Are you interested in making a difference in your local area? You can begin right away without the complicated process of setting up an organization. Parents' Rights in Education has a free, turnkey, grassroots opportunity. We are looking for parents in every school district in your state to join our efforts to make a difference and regain their right to direct the education of their children. PRE began in 2009 and became a tax-deductible 501c3 organization in 2011. We're not going away. Our organization has web presence, and we have taken our message to the national level. Our efforts have been multiplied in 12 states and beyond. Others are lined up. More than one group has decided to join us after creating their own name and website. We must come together because we will be far more effective. That is why we started our chapter program, to empower groups to be effective in their local areas. Chapter members join PRE because we cover the marketing and organizational pieces they simply do not have time for. Chapter affiliation gives you access to branding, information, swag, people who inquire about joining, fundraising, and marketing materials. You will now have all the branding and recognition you need to grow your group, including banners and brochures. We set you up with a state website on our website. You are immediately part of something big. When you join Parents' Rights in Education, you gain instant credibility. Parents' Rights in Education followers and chapters enjoy our regular news alerts and press releases. Your chapter will have a Facebook group connected to our page. We put on annual events featuring national speakers. The 2021 Safe Schools Summit videos are available on our website. Don't have time to read? Suzanne Gallagher produces a bi-weekly podcast, making it easier for you to get up to speed with the issues. We often use members' ideas and respond to requests for help at the local level, creating campaigns you all can use. For example, brochures and handouts translated into Spanish, branding, promoting policies such as opt-in instead of opt-out of controversial curriculums, the Parents' Rights in Education Proclamation for school boards proclaiming their desire to work with parents when adopting policies. We have opt-out forms which can be adapted for any school district, and petitions calling for the rejection of anti-American curriculum. Defending parents' rights is our mission. We focus on mentoring and electing conservatives to school board, providing them with good policy, solid advice, and issue information. We also encourage parents to use our connections to challenge the system on a legal level. Parents' Rights in Education was a plaintiff in a lawsuit against the Dallas, Oregon School District. That case lost in district court, then appealed and rejected by the Ninth Circuit, and finally applied for appeal by the Child and Parental Rights Campaign to the Supreme Court. Hey, this is simple! All you need to do is fill out, sign, and return the pre-chapter application agreement. When it is received and processed, you will be contacted. That's it. Together, we will stop the erosion of parents' rights in education. Making personal connections is critical. We advocate for citizens to form small groups in every school district. The 2022 National Safe Schools Summit is geared to inspire, motivate, and equip attendees to be effective. We want our followers to know what their rights are and how they can restore them. Our summit was scheduled in late July or early August to accommodate 3 timelines: school calendars, election cycles, and legislative calendars. The summer is absolutely the best time for our back to school initiatives. Welcome to the 2022 Safe Schools Summit.